All right, let's talk about Biden, Trump, and the political roller coaster America's been on. It's, well, one of those wild stories that people all over the world can't stop talking about. Like, when was the last time we had a situation where two US presidents, who also happened to be each other's direct predecessors, created such a unique political spectacle? Probably never. And gee, the dynamics between Biden and Trump, they're just fascinating, right? So Biden, he shocked everyone when he announced on July 22nd, 2024, that he wouldn't run for re-election. That move kicked off a chain reaction. Over the next 6 months, he seemed to focus on, well, setting up challenges or, outright traps for Trump to deal with. And I mean, Trump's 2024 victory was overwhelming. But even with that win, Biden managed to leave behind some pretty massive pitfalls. Let's break this down a bit. First, the idea that Biden only started creating problems for Trump post-election. Actually, he started way earlier, like on July 29th, 2024, when he dug this metaphorical Grand Canyon of a trap. And second, Biden's motivations? Sure, there's the whole get back at Trump vibe, but maybe it's deeper. Maybe you wanted to take a swing at the Democratic Party, or even society at large. Third, Biden's gift to Trump wasn't just challenges. He left behind a mixed bag of political assets and liabilities. It's complicated, For years, the narrative has been that Biden was this frail, confused old man who made poor decisions that didn't benefit anyone. But was he really that clueless? I mean, sure, the messy Afghanistan withdrawal was a disaster. And yeah, his inconsistent stances on the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine conflict, those raised eyebrows. Not to mention some moves that alienated allies, like how he pushed India from anti-China to neutral, or smacked down Vietnam's pro-American factions by refusing to recognize their market economy status. Oh, and let's not forget the domestic embarrassments, Hunter Biden's scandals, and internal Democratic conflicts. But here's the thing. Focusing only on Biden's failures? That's not the full picture. So yeah, let's dig into the good stuff he did. When you stack everything together, the wins and losses, you start to see just how massive his influence was. And wow, the impact of his actions will ripple through Trump's presidency and beyond. Domestically, Biden scored some points. Infrastructure upgrades? Check. Relieving student loan burdens? Yup. And let's not overlook the economy. During his term, GDP growth stayed positive. Even in the worst year, it was close to 2%. Unemployment? It dropped and plateaued at a low 4%. Now compare that to Trump's first term. Trump's best GDP growth year was 2.9%, but his worst year? Negative 3.5%, with unemployment peaking at 14.7%. I mean, Biden's numbers look pretty decent by comparison, don't they? On the international stage, Biden pulled off some bold moves. Ending the 20-year quagmire in Afghanistan? Well, that's something neither Obama nor Trump could do. By withdrawing, he stopped that financial bleeding. And his foreign policy, it's like playing 4D chess. He subtly provoked Russia into military action in Ukraine, drawing European capital back to the US. Meanwhile, American military-industrial giants feasted on contracts for Ukraine aid. Oh, and he got Israel and Hamas to agree on a ceasefire. Sure, Trump's team helped, but Biden played his part. Still, despite all this, Biden's approval rating tanked to 25% by the time he left office. That's stunningly low. For reference, Obama had 52%, and Trump's first-term exit rating was 36%. What gives? Maybe it's that people didn't connect his achievements to his leadership. Or maybe it's that his speeches, especially later on, made him seem out of touch. Whatever the reason, Biden clearly felt underappreciated. And his repeated, "I regret stepping down" speeches. While talk about laying it all out there. Alright, so what did Biden leave behind for Trump? First, there's the financial mess. Biden's 2025 budget proposed a whopping $1.8 trillion deficit, and 98% of available discretionary funds were already allocated. Trump's options? Either make do with a measly 2% or raise the debt ceiling, breaking his cut spending promises right out of the gate. Gee, what a choice, huh? Then there's the bureaucratic nightmare. Biden signed 5-year labor contracts for 42,000 federal Social Security workers, ensuring they couldn't be fired. This boxed Trump in. If he didn't cut these workers, others would revolt over inequality. But if he did, there'd be costly penalties. It's like a lose-lose situation, Energy policy? Biden banned new oil and gas drilling in parts of the US. This clashes big time with Trump's plan to expand traditional energy production and make America the world's top energy exporter. And foreign policy? Biden removed Cuba from the terror-supporting nations list. If Trump reinstates it, America looks unreliable. If he doesn't, he'll face criticism from Cuban exiles in his administration, like Marco Rubio. And then there's the judiciary. Biden launched a campaign for judicial reform. He called for term limits for Supreme Court justices, reducing their lifetime tenure to 18 years. Sounds fair, right? But implementing this would mean 3 conservative justices, including Chief Justice Roberts, would need to retire. Biden also proposed strict behavior guidelines for justices, aiming to address corruption scandals involving conservative judges. Republicans faced a tough choice: agree and lose their court majority or fight and look complicit in corruption. Either way, the Supreme Court's image would take a hit. This move could destabilize the separation of powers in the U.S. Why? Because the Supreme Court has long been the stabilizing force in the country's political system. Undermining it could lead to chaos. Biden knew this, but he pushed forward anyway. Talk about a high-risk play. And the consequences? They'll haunt not just Trump, but the entire American political system. Here's the thing: Biden was both underestimated and unlucky. His strengths in strategy and negotiation were overshadowed by his age and outdated Cold War mindset. And yeah, the information age hasn't been kind to leaders like him. People are less swayed by facts and more by feelings. Biden's speeches didn't inspire confidence, even though his policies had measurable successes. For Americans, Biden's presidency was frustrating. High inflation eroded goodwill, and his aggressive foreign policy didn't win fans at home or abroad. For the Chinese, his containment strategies reinforced animosity. It's like he alienated everyone. Biden's presidency, love it or hate it, left a lasting mark. His policy traps, strategic successes, and polarizing decisions ensure that his influence won't fade anytime soon. And as Trump embarks on his second term, Biden's shadow will loom large. So yeah, maybe Biden didn't get the recognition he wanted, but his actions, they'll echo through history for better or worse.